The Bitcoin Group, the American original. For over the last 10 seconds, the sharpest Satoshis, the best Bitcoins, the hardest cryptocurrency talk. We'd like to welcome our panelists, Dan Eve, the Crypto Raptor.
Hey, what's up?
Josh Shigala from Vaultoro.
What's cooking, good looking?
Adam McBride from the Adam McBride Show.
Let's go.
And I'm Thomas Hunt from the World Crypto Network. Moving on to issue one. Issue one, Bitcoin payments to be banned in Turkey after confidence drops in the Lira. Turkey's currency isn't doing so well, so they're banning Bitcoin to make things better for them. They're hoping that the locals there in Turkey keep their savings in Turkish lira, not dollars, euros, and Bitcoin. As far as we know, this is the first time that a country has directly banned Bitcoin because of competition with a local currency. Dan Eve, is this a good move by Turkey, getting out ahead of it and banning Bitcoin?
It never ends well when a country bans Bitcoin, because usually the local Bitcoins tends to surge, and it actually puts more of an interest in. It's like that, it's almost like the bad publicity is good publicity, and by banning it, people are kind of thinking, by saying it reduces confidence in a government currency. It kind of makes people think, oh, I wonder why, and then they do a bit of research, and then they're like, oh, I'll go and have a look at local Bitcoins.
Josh, sorry, go ahead, Dan.
Oh, I was just going to say, as if it's a bad thing. Bitcoin is neither subject to any regulation and supervision mechanisms, nor a central regulatory authority. As if that's a bad thing. That's literally the point of Bitcoin. It's not controlled. It's not centralized. And I would like to see instead of them going cold turkey on Bitcoin, I'd like to see cold storage turkey.
Josh Shigala, if you have a date in Constantinople, she'll be waiting in Istanbul. What do you think about Turkey?
I really like the people of Turkey, the Turks, good folks. I've got a lot of Turkish friends, very funny people, but very serious also about Bitcoin. And one of the things that is important to remember is that when countries start banning things like competitive currencies, it's the start of a really important and big move. It's not a simple, we're banning, I don't know, something that's poisonous or whatever. This is a big move, and you know that there's trouble. So a few years ago, the Erdogan said that gold is fine, but get rid of American dollars, because people were using American dollars. So gold is fine, and Lira, be patriotic, Lira. And this is typical in any sort of currency collapse. Gold is because it's universally understood as a store of value by the older generations. It's something that's not unpatriotic to hold in hard times. What's unpatriotic to hold is other people's currencies. So that's why traditionally gold has been something that you can kind of hold, but it's very scary because a bearer-based asset, you could be robbed if you tell anyone. So you keep it very secret. And there's a lot of stories, a lot of people that I've talked to that have gone through currency collapse, and their family have survived way better than their friends around them, because they secured some of their family wealth in gold while the currency was collapsing. The other way to secure your wealth is to short the local currency by getting into debt and effectively buying properties or other hard assets to get away. So if you can't get your hands on Bitcoin, which you can anyway, they'll ban it, but it doesn't matter. You can use local Bitcoins or these sorts of products. Mycelium have a really nice marketplace where you can go get Bitcoin and other cryptos. I think maybe just Bitcoin, but it's an interesting time. It's definitely a warning shot to everyone that there is going to be some major inflation coming, and that the devaluation of the lira is at hand.
Adam McBride, your thoughts on Turkey banning Bitcoin?
To get on to that hard asset thing, I know a bunch of people live in Costa Rica myself, and I know a bunch of people from Venezuela down here. And the idea of, moving your money into a hard asset like land or a house, that becomes a no-go when your currency completely evaporates. Because I know plenty of Venezuelans who are very well off own homes in Venezuela, and those Venezuelan homes are basically worthless because they can't sell them for anything of value, right? So Bitcoin obviously is a easy step for those people. I looked it up. You know, the Turkish lira is devalued 84% just against the dollar in the last 5 years. So that is a crumbling currency. I would say my viewpoint is a great way to drive adoption of Bitcoin, because much like Nigeria, 1 in 3 people in Nigeria are using crypto. Get ready for a crypto explosion in Turkey.
Moving on to the exit question. Now that Turkey has banned Bitcoin, who's next? What country will ban or might have already banned Bitcoin? Dan, Eve, name a country.
I don't know. It's got to be one that's below Bitcoin in the list. I think one thing, I don't know, CoinMarketCap, it rubs some people up the wrong way because it was Binance bought, but I do like their table, which is like the chart of fiat currencies compared to Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is now number 14 in the world of currencies. So I think ahead of us in the near future, there's like Swiss franc, Brazilian real, Taiwan dollar. So I reckon, as soon as Bitcoin usurps one of those, we could see like a bit of this has become a threat now. It's usurped our own currency, and therefore we're going to try and ban it. But Bitcoin doesn't care. Honey Badger don't care. So ban it. Do what you want. It will live forever.
Josh Agala, who bans Bitcoin next?
I'm going to go with China FUD.
Everyone loves China. Adam McBride, who bans Bitcoin?
China's a great call. It's hard to argue against that one. And as far as the big countries go, my money would be on China as well.
Let's go out of the box here. Let's go with the United States. The United States changes their mind and bans Bitcoin just when you least expect it. That's when they come for you. Moving on to issue 2, phony money paying for real money. The price of Bitcoin rose to another all-time high at a record of $64,000 a coin on Wednesday. However, for some people, this good news just wasn't good enough, and it was time to sell. Jim Cramer of the famous TV show Mad Money bragged about buying Bitcoin around $12,000, selling it at $64,000, when yesterday he was saying, no one's selling, no one's selling. Why is no one selling? Cramer stepped forward, and according to a Twitter message he sent, he sold 50% of his Bitcoin and purchased a house. Josh Shigala, is this a good idea? Has Cramer led the way for the rest of us?
Yeah, if you want to buy a house, go and buy a house. Yeah, I mean, some people, if this is the top, some people, it depends where your moon is. Everyone's moon's in a different trajectory. Some people, this is the moon, and some people, they're just getting off the ground. So it depends. I think.
Wait. Is Cramer just getting off the ground? Cramer is a decamillionaire, and he gets out of a loan at 3.5%, right? A tax-deductible loan at 3.5% to move his money away from crypto into what? Paying off a house that he's probably got 10 houses? It's a terrible move, Mike.
Yeah, well, that's true. I mean,
doing the thing he tells us not to do, where you sell your losers and you keep your winners. Bitcoin has just won really big for him, and his reward is cutting off his victories by 50%. I don't know about that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't buy much that the mainstream media say, so it's just sort of a talking point. But unless maybe he borrowed against his crypto holdings on a smart contract and got some DAI, sold it for. You never know.
Well, I mean, I think this is an important issue because he didn't just sell like into cash to buy Bitcoin back when it went down, as we saw it went down. According to his statement, he sold to buy a house. So his money is off the market, cannot be reinvested. And it's hilarious because I've made the same exact mistake, probably at a smaller level than Mr. Cramer, of course. But I've made the same mistake buying a house over holding Bitcoin forever. And it's just funny to see a possible mainstream big time example of making this mistake. Let's go to Adam McBride. Your thoughts on Cramer's interest?
Yeah, I mean, there's a big difference, right? If it's me and I don't even own my house, right? Is my principal investment. This is the largest investment in my life. There's a difference between that, taking risk off the table, and paying off my house. Like, I get that. But this is a different situation. This is Jim Cramer, right? This is a decamillionaire who's just made a trade where he's traded money at 3.5%, which is tax deductible. So, I mean, what did he make on that deal?
It's not tax deductible anymore. Unfortunately, Trump removed the interest tax benefits for owning a home. But
really?
Still a very low interest loan. I would definitely agree with that.
Well, I didn't realize. I thought home loans were still, there were still tax advantages for home loan. All right.
It's a tragic crush of the whole house thing. And yeah, it just kind of happened, you know, as well.
I mean, for me, hey, if you're going to move it and pay off a home, if it's not your principal residence or if you're struggling, or if you're not struggling, I should say, seems like in this inflationary cycle, and it is inflating like crazy. He's taking money out and paying off a home in an inflationary cycle when he can borrow that money at 3.5%. What he should have been doing is refinancing his home and borrowing more money. That's what he should have been doing.
It is interesting to compare like a normal person with Cramer, as Adam was saying. Normal person, you have that one house, you're paying it off. That really secures your future. You lose your job or something, you could go a couple of months without paying the rent. It's amazing. But I agree with Adam that Cramer probably has many houses. It could have just been, he could have bought a silver Falcon or like a Fabergé egg or a Tesla or something, a really fancy thing that he doesn't.
Or a Beeple NFT, man.
Yeah, he could have bought, well, that's still investing. But the idea here is that Cramer is like somehow tired of investing. He's tired of making money. Dan Eve, will we be laughing at Cramer like we laugh at the bear whale?
Well, inevitably at some point, it's just when on the timeline you decide to laugh at him because, you know, Bitcoin is gonna hit 250 and then it's gonna go to crazy money that we never thought. Like when it was like $1,000 and we were like, oh, it will never reach 3,000. It will never reach 10,000. It will never reach 50,000. You know, it just keeps on going. Number keeps going up. What's interesting is that he's someone that's made a lot of money and believes in Bitcoin. You know, I say believe in it, you know, understands it, because it's not about belief. It's about understanding the reasons why, not believing in it just because it's a fairy tale that will come true, because it just craps on the current existing system that we have. But he still calls it phony money, which I like. It's like, oh, it's still monopoly money. I paid off my house. Well, forget that. Like, Dogecoin's up like 5,000%. So I think that's going to be a cool thing. We'll see probably some people taking profits there, buying themselves some lovely assets, maybe a few Doges. They'll buy themselves some Doges. But what's interesting is you've said, like, while some people are, you know, scrambling to sell their illiquid property to, or at least release some cash from it, he's quite happy to sell, and which is quite odd because usually it's based on you've got the flip side of the risk reward ratio. And people are seeing who have Bitcoin now are probably thinking, well, if I sell and there's a bear market, then I don't have a mortgage to pay, and, you know, I've got an easy ride until the next bull run. Other people are thinking, and I imagine in his position, as you mentioned, you're already a millionaire. Why not just ride it? You know, the interest rate's so low. Why not just ride it out and just be like, you know, completely I'm going to say it, but balls deep, right? You know, if that's the word, as it were. So I don't know. I think at the end of the day, he gave it to a bank by paying his mortgage off, and that bank is probably going to secretly buy Bitcoin, whilst also releasing an article going, "Oh, Bitcoin's absolutely awful." So I don't know. The main thing is that I think that the thing that attracted me to the article was that he's doing what he said he usually does. He's been known to say that investors haven't made money in a stock until they've actually sold a portion of it. So maybe he's just following his rule of take some profits and then ride the rest.
Exit question. Building on what Dan was saying, does Cramer's description of Bitcoin as phony money paying for real money expose that he doesn't really understand Bitcoin or crypto or the nature of the revolution that's about to happen, whether they like it or not. Josh Shigala.
Man, if he really said that, he's the dumbest cuck I've ever heard. Like, what a fool. What a fool. Bitcoin is now 12 or something, 13 years old. Like, what the hell, man? Are you really this? And if you're only a deca millionaire and you've got a show and can manipulate stocks like the hell you want for the last, 20 years, and you're only a deca millionaire, you don't know what you're talking about, fool.
Adam McBride, your thoughts on Cramer's description of Bitcoin as phony money?
Hey, all money's phony money. It's agreed upon reality. We're agreeing upon something as an account, and that's what it is. You can agree or not agree. It's all phony money. US dollars, phony money. Puka shells are phony money. It's all phony money. It's just what's agreed upon. And I think more and more people at this point in time are agreeing upon Bitcoin as the default currency for this globe. And that's just the way it's going, because the people see that it can't be manipulated. You can't make more. And that's a big deal. And that's where we're going. And that's why we're all here sitting talking about it, because this is a big deal.
Dan Eve, phony money. Did Cramer get a good deal? Traded something for nothing.
It's the only real money, and the equivalent. When you go to Disney World, they give you Disney dollars, and that's just as made up as the real dollar. Like, because it's not backed by anything. It's not backed by, I don't know, Pluto snacks.
Wait, it's backed by Walt Disney.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. It's backed by cartoons.
It's backed by fun, man.
I don't know, Pluto. But yeah, I don't know. I think that it's all phony money unless it's tangible, and tangible can mean electronically tangible via electrons dibble-dabbling with each other.
I think it's a great thing for Bitcoin. It gives us all another mark on the calendar where we can look back and be like, oh, yes, I remember when Cramer sold 50% of his Bitcoin. And now we're just looking for him to say, I saved that other 50% and now it's worth more than all of my holdings. I don't know what to do. I keep taking profits. It keeps going up. I keep taking profits. It goes up. I can't lose money on this thing. So I don't know. He'll just have to try harder to lose money. I'm sure he'll find a way. Did you know the World Crypto Network has its own audio podcast that presumably I have access to and I can update again? We'll be updating the audio podcast very soon with audio versions of the YouTube episodes. Also, it's a great time to give us a thumbs up. Maybe you're watching the show for the first time and you want to push subscribe, or you've watched it over and over again. You give us a thumbs up every week, and now's a great time to do that. So thanks so much. Moving on to issue 3. Coinbase valued at $86 billion in what the New York Times calls a landmark moment for crypto. Coinbase's valuation soared in the first public listing of a major cryptocurrency company. Their stocks began at $381 a share, a 52% increase over the $250 reference price set by NASDAQ on Tuesday. The stock swung as low as $310 and as high as $429. The price ended the day at $328 a share for Coinbase, valuing the company at $85.7 billion, more than 10 times its last valuation as a private company. Adam McBride, did you buy the Coinbase IPO? Do you suggest people buy it? Was it good for Bitcoin?
Hey, if you could get in at a reasonable price, anything close to the initial offer, of course you're all in. Look, hey, $1 billion isn't what it used to be, right? I'm old enough to know when $1 billion actually meant something. If you want to understand that we are in an inflationary cycle, all we talk about is $1 billion now. $1 million is nothing. $1 billion is nothing now. Like, we're looking at it, $1 billion is nothing. It's amazing. But I do think Coinbase, the value isn't necessarily Bitcoin or anything like that. The value is that Coinbase is going to be the principal on-ramp for most people in America getting into cryptocurrencies. That's where the value lies. You see other smart movers coming into the space, the way PayPal's doing it right now. I mean, if you've seen the ads for PayPal, go on, buy it at as little as $1 of Bitcoin. And I think that's super smart. So I like the way PayPal's moving into the space as well. Obviously, it's not an exchange, but just getting the average American into crypto, that is where Coinbase's value lies, and it has a big moat. I know people are saying, oh, the other exchanges that are outside of the U.S., but getting and being in the U.S. has a tremendous amount of value, and so I'm a buyer of Coinbase right now.
Dan, Eve.
Yeah, well, I think it looked like it was going south. It had a low of like 310, but it shot up to 429, which I think valued at about 111 billion. Then ended at 328, and then last time I checked, it was 340. Now, there's obviously some value there, and the IPO or the listing, because they didn't actually. The cool thing, in a way, if everyone hates Coinbase, but they didn't IPO. It was direct to market, which is kind of cool because it meant that it didn't go to private investors first, and people load their bags and then they dump on the retail. So at least retail got to get straight in there. But the publicity obviously did it well. And it's number 2 on the App Store date over 24 hours, past TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Snapchat, second to Robinhood. So that's obviously, it's a good thing for the Bitcoin ecosystem because it brings more people to Bitcoin. And obviously, eventually, we want people running their nodes and being, fully financially self-sovereign. But until it's easier for the noobs, they'll use something like Coinbase, and people at least are learning about Bitcoin and getting involved in some way. The funny thing I saw today, which you always see like the Ethereum giveaways, like an Elon Musk full of Ethereum giveaways, for example. Now, Coinbase are doing a giveaway today, and it literally sounds like identical to an Ethereum one. To celebrate coin, I didn't catch that. I'm sorry, Siri. Oh, geez. To celebrate coin, we're giving away 1.5 million in Bitcoin. Sign up, blah, blah, blah. It smacks of free Ethereum giveaway. To celebrate X, I'm doing, but fair play. They're going to give more Bitcoin out. And ultimately, what was the thing you used to do when it was like really cheap? You'd give someone some Bitcoin. You'd be like, oh, they won't kind of feel the impact of Bitcoin until I give them $5 worth, and they see that $5 grow. Obviously, no one wants to do it now because they're too busy hodling. But at least, it's spreading. It's spreading the word, and like it or lump it, Coinbase is getting Bitcoin out there to more people. So, hurrah for Bitcoin.
I think Dan hit a real good point there, which is the individual at this point in time. The idea of wallets and holding your own coins is beyond the pale for 95% of people in the United States of America. Easily not. It's probably 99%. So what Dan just touched on right there, that people can get into crypto with the security of that third party, is really important, and it's a big deal for the movement of Americans into crypto.
Well, and this might not be a thing that traditional Bitcoiners like or libertarians like, but I agree with you guys. It's an easy way to get into Bitcoin. It's a trusted way. When I thought about it, I was like, Coinbase, I've never had them steal all the money like Cryptsy or BTCE or Mt. Gox or any of these other exchanges I've dealt with. So just on a trust level. And yeah, they've had mistakes in the past for sure, but they seem pretty trustworthy. Josh Chagall, your thoughts on the Coinbase direct listing?
What I find really fascinating was the whole BNB play compared, because BNB went with the ICO method years ago, and watching the value of BNB trying to either get manipulated up to like the same market value, they're sitting at almost 80 billion and trying to sort of battle this out and go, yeah, we don't need this, establishment Wall Street crud. We've got, we're true crypto people. We're doing our ICO. So that was fascinating. But the thing with Coinbase is that I feel that if I was an investor, I always look at switching cost. And what is the switching cost for them? Of course, it's basically old school, sort of disgusting version of capitalism where they lobby the government to create more and more regulatory moats around themselves to stop any, and that's where the value actually lies, is by force of government saying, no one else is allowed to compete with Coinbase. And that gives them this protection from switching costs. So there lies the switching cost for Americans to jump in, which is unfortunate because then you get worse and worse products as less and less competition happens. But we'll see what happens. I mean, like you said, Coinbase has never been hacked. apart from the IRS, and that hacked them. And you know, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens.
All right, moving on to the exit question. Who will IPO next? Will it be another exchange, another category of crypto? Is it crypto season on the stock market? Adam McBride.
Ooh, is there any way we can get Doge to IPO? Because I'd be in on that one. Is there any way we can get that to happen? Honestly, I have no idea who's gonna IPO next. I'm sure there's gonna be a rush. They're all gonna try, right? I mean, I've never seen an IPO, or I guess a listing cycle. It's not really IPOs. These guys are all doing direct listings. I've never seen a cycle like this. The bubble is everywhere. It's not only in crypto, it's in NFTs, it's in the stock market, it's in new companies. I've talked about it a bit on my channel. The idea of flying taxis, doing a SPAC and raising $200 billion. This is crazy town. We're in crazy town. So it's magic time. And so if people can make it happen, they're going to try. Just be careful out there on what you're investing in, because a lot of this stuff is going to go down or go to zero.
Dan, Eve.
I think I'm not sure about IPOs, but I'm expecting to see a lot more. And this was kind of theorized in 2017, or it spoke about, and it never really, during the ICO craze, and it didn't really materialize. But a lot more companies that are crypto companies that are doing reverse mergers and taking over existing companies, and then you're taking advantage of the licenses they already have. So maybe something like that. I mean, maybe I can't imagine Binance would do an IPO, although they started doing something interesting, which is fractional shares. So you can get, I think Tesla was the first thing listed, so you could buy a fractional share of Tesla. But just going back very quickly on Coinbase specifically, I think they announced also that they're doing, not that I'm advertising for them, but just for the appeal of an end user, the Ethereum 2 staking, they're doing like 6%, and they all do other sort of stuff that's got yields. The best thing you can get, like Virgin Money, gives 2%. So crypto is just crapping. All the yields that you're getting is just crapping on existing banks, and people are going to go, why stay with HSBC when my money's only protected to 80k anyway, and that interest rate that I'm going to get on whatever is going to be minuscule compared to what I get. So I don't know. I don't know who's going to IPO, but I just want to see more crypto companies just smashing these existing infrastructure in via better rates, but better security and more public trust.
Josh Shigala, is it crypto IPO season?
It could be. It just takes a lot of effort to IPO, so I don't see why they would, when there's so much money flying in through IDOs and all sorts of other mechanisms. If you want to raise money for your project, IPOs are interesting, but I think they're not that exciting anymore. Yeah.
All right. So the easy answer that I didn't hear was Kraken. Kraken is planning an IPO, but I want to go with the hard answer too. I think Chain Analysis will plan an IPO because they know that it's only a limited amount of time where they can snoop onto Bitcoin. They can snoop onto all these people before they improve their systems. So they got to sell that thing fast, and they're going to sell it big. So this might be Adam's one that goes to zero eventually. So we'll see. Chain Analysis. Let's see. Moving on to issue 4. Issue 4, Dogecoin doubles in a day.
To the moon!
The price of Dogecoin is up 5,000% year to date, while the price of Bitcoin is dipping. Everyone's favorite meme cryptocurrency has delivered 12,600% gains in a year and likely created a string of millionaires. I can hear Jackson Palmer rolling over in his grave from here. He created Dogecoin, but he was not a fan of it. Let's go to Dan, Eve. Your thoughts on the sudden rise and perhaps sudden fall of Dogecoin?
Well, if people are taking credit for Laser Eyes taking Bitcoin closer to 100, then the memes of Dogecoin to $1 is powered by memes. That $42 billion market cap is which is maybe why. So maybe Turkey were like, right, we've got to do something, guys. Dogecoin has a market cap of 42 billion, which is about a tenth of our money supply. Therefore, we must do something now before we get embarrassed by the Doge.
That's a great point, man. That's a great point.
So I think people are gonna will it in. You know, they're gonna keep on pumping it. It's a joke that continues. And I think the cool thing about it is that it is a lot higher than the total supply of some countries. You know, it's literally a meme that's got, what's it called? Comic Sans. It's got Comic Sans on it. Something with Comic Sans with a dog is worth more than the entire money supply of certain countries. So I'd like to see it do good, because I like the crazy stories of, you know, I sold my house and paid off all my debt. I managed to get out of that evil landlord because I had $10 of Dogecoin that made me a Dogecoinaire. You know, I like those stories. So as much as people might hate Bitcoin, I like it. See anything where someone beats the traditional system of my money got inflated and it's worth sod all now. I like it being beaten by a Comic Sans dog.
That was the main feature of the Dogecoin wallet. If anyone ever used it back in the day, they copied the Bitcoin wallet, but they changed the font to Comic Sans. So it really stood out. It was very different. Josh Shigala, your thoughts on the sudden rise of Dogecoin?
I mean, Dogecoin, it just pumps and it dumps and it pumps and it dumps, and it's part of it. It's like a dog jumping through a field. It's like a Doge dog jumping through a field of high wheat or something where they just really bounce. It's a constant bounce. So right now, like, this isn't financial advice at all, but man, I would be selling that shit right now and just like taking some profits off the table. Buy some dog food with that stuff, man. Jeepers creepers. And then it'll dip, man. You've got some gunpowder to rebuy that Doge, you know. Just that's a massive pump. But I think Dan's right. You know, it's all about the dollar. People just want to see the $1 for Doge because it's ridiculous. But please, people, most people don't understand the inflationary output of Doge. It's insane. It's like a dog with a bad diet and how often it farts. It's like just constant. It's constant, and it smells terrible if you take a close look.
Is it like every 60 seconds a new million Doge are minted? Is that something like that?
Yeah, it's something like that. It's nuts. It's absolutely bonkers. It's probably worth mining, maybe. I think, doesn't it like merge mine with Litecoin or something? I don't even know.
Hey, the pumpometrics, they just make sense in Doge, right? They just make sense. The pumpometrics. Doge would be the one coin I would say sell and pay off your house with. You know, if you can make that happen, right? But what a run. What a run by Doge. I mean, you see it. Actually, I think Dan mentioned, you know, the idea that in the old market, Jim Cramer or groups of people, hedge funds could manipulate prices. And if you go on YouTube and search Jim Cramer manipulate prices, he literally is in an interview where he gives 5 minutes on how he used to manipulate pricing as he was running his hedge fund. And now it's just more out in the open. And I think we all appreciate it, that it's just a bunch of guys sitting around on Twitter or in Discord trying to pump this market and pump and dump and pump and dump. And we all understand what it is. And when it's transparent like that, we can all appreciate what it is, which is just a pump and dump scheme. And it is what it is. It can be fun, right?
Yeah. It's like when GameStop was happening, they were like, oh, what is all this? This is nuts. This is crazy. It's like, no, welcome to crypto. This is just normal day-to-day stuff. And we don't need to make it illegal. You just have to realize it's happening and price it into your investment scope.
100%. I don't know if you guys saw on Twitter today, there's a guy with $1 billion in his wallet trading Doge today. Did you see that? Somebody tracked that wallet, just giant block trade, just moving the market up and down, buying, selling. You just see it and you go, wow, this is a completely manipulated market. But hey, it's probably Elon. All aware of that. It's all good. I think we're fine.
I think this is what Elon. It's like his little vent to be able to like manipulate something without getting in trouble with the SEC. He's just like, tweet, Doge up. And it's like, woohoo, look at all these millionaires I'm making. And then look at them all fail and fall. Like, it's little godly manipulation without
That's
getting in
great.
trouble.
Yeah, you're right. Yep, totally.
Exit question. Why does this keep happening with Dogecoin? What is it about Dogecoin? Is it the meme? Is it the dog? Is it the number of units? Why do people keep pumping Dogecoin? Dan Eve.
I think it's like is it Metcalfe's law, like the value of network of the proportional users or whatever. And I think that as soon as people start getting into Doge and they just like the idea of it, and because it's kind of cheap, people can own a load of them for a small amount of money, and they're like, yeah, I'm seeing on like 100 Doge or whatever, or 1,000 Doge, and so people get behind it. They chatter. Social media goes mental because even people. I don't own any Doge, but I just love it, and I probably talk about it quite a lot, and so that helps it spread, and then the spreading helps people think, oh, actually, I'll give it a go, I'll give it a punt, and it just goes like wildfire. And the social media goes on fire. People checking like what's it called, sentiment analysis, will see that everyone's talking about Doge, and then they'll be like, well, my bots will start buying based on the sentiment analysis, probably not realizing that it's buying Doge. I don't know. There's probably loads of factors, but people just want to will something that's fun. I think that's it. They want to will it to $1.
I don't want it to go to $1. $1 million Doge used to be $20. Like, I don't want that to be a thing that I missed out on. Josh Shigala, why does Dogecoin keep pumping?
Yeah, it keeps pumping because it's funny and people don't get it, and I, like, quite honestly, it's the internet. It's a funny thing. It's like, why do some wacky GIF NFTs pump for no particular? It just like it's the internet. It's part of culture, and that's that has value. Culture has value, and people like to have fun with value, and it's kind of interesting in that sense.
Adam McBride, why is Dogecoin so popular?
Well, I would say actually Josh's point is right on. It's culture. As I've done some research into the history of NFTs recently, you realize that the majority of projects early on were all gambling, pyramid schemes, all these sort of things. People just, there's something within us that loves this idea of getting rich quick type of thing. And I think what Doge does is a lot like a currency, is everybody agrees upon it. We agree that Doge is the meme coin. So it's been decided. And the up and down, the back and forth doesn't matter. We'll still be talking about Doge in 5 years, I'm sure of it. Whether it's a tenth of a penny or $10, I would lean towards a tenth of a penny. But we're still going to be talking about it because people have decided that this is the one we're going to bet on for pump and dump.
And my friend Jackson is just rolling over in his grave again. He didn't like Bitcoin. He was making fun of Bitcoin. He launched Dogecoin to make fun of Bitcoin. This is not supposed to be about it. He never minded it. He never held it. He never owned it. Never bought it. He hates it. And he goes on. He gets invited on shows like The Daily Show to say how much he hates Dogecoin, which made his name, made his reputation, all these things. He wanted that. And he doesn't even want that.
Seriously, was that painful for him though at the end, knowing the ride that he missed?
I in a way it was. I mean, because he has withdrawn from the internet, so I imagine also people are hassling him all the time. Like, you got any Doge, or can you send me some Doge? And plus interviews. I don't think he cared for them in the first place. But the whole time, and I just knew Jackson briefly and stuff. He's a good guy, and he had this sweet job at Adobe. And he just didn't worry about anything else. He lived near Adobe in San Francisco. He had a sweet job there. He'd go back and forth. They loved him at Adobe. I imagine they still do. He's a great guy. So I just don't think he cared. But then every once in a while, you have to imagine, like, he sees himself on a yacht, like sipping champagne because of Dogecoin. And he gave all that up because he never liked Bitcoin. He didn't like Dogecoin. He didn't invest in either. And it flew right past him.
That's some painful stuff right there, brother. That is painful.
Well, someday if we'll find him, we'll get him on it again. But we haven't seen him in forever, and then he quit all the social media and everything. So our best goes out to Jackson Palmer. I hope he's doing well. Moving on to issue 5. NFT prices are plummeting. The NFT craze may be over just as it was beginning. Some are calling it a scam, a pyramid scheme, a tech speculation bubble, and others say that the price of NFTs has gone down 70% from a peak of around $4,000 an NFT to around $1,400 last week. Since Bloomberg reported the price crash on April 3, sales remain low. Was Saturday Night Live and the Curio Cards launch the beginning of the end for NFTs? Let's go straight to Adam McBride, kind of our NFT expert here. But was I totally correct? Saturday Night Live does that fantastic parody. The
And it's
next
all over.
day, the magnificent Curio Card launch, and then
Like a rocket ship to hell. Yes, the market is completely crushed. I can report from the NFT market space, it is completely crushed. Meaning that I track a bunch of different ones that I got in on, meaning I got them basically free or very close to free. And there are whole swaths of them where there's no trading at all. Nobody's even buying them. So what happens when you have no trading at all? If somebody actually has to get out, you are going to have huge losses. And it just speaks to the whole space. Like, do I believe in NFTs long term? Absolutely. And for those of you who don't know, it's not just about art. NFTs for use in art is one aspect of what NFTs can be used for. There are lots of other aspects which are even more exciting than art. But with that, once people got a hold of this 3 months ago, that you could put out, as an artist, I could put out art on the blockchain and sell it. It went from a handful or 1,000 people selling NFTs to millions of people selling NFTs. And just like the ICOs in 2017, the vast majority of these things are going to be completely worthless.
Dan Eve, your thoughts on the possible decline of NFTs?
Well, I must say, obviously, there was a lot of hype behind it, but the funny thing is that article starts off with like scam, pyramid scheme, tech speculation bubble, and in fairness, where have we heard that before? It's a million times talking about Bitcoin. Oh, it's a scam. Oh, it's a pyramid scheme. Oh, the lilies, not the lilies, the tulips and the lilies. Whatever, tulip lilies, NFTs of tulips, lilies, whatever. But yes, everyone thinks that Bitcoin's is, or lots of people still think Bitcoin's a speculative bubble. Things pump, they get a lot of publicity, the excitement wears off. There's arguments over the intrinsic value of stuff, and that you can just take a picture of the screen and then share it. But I don't know. I think there's a lot of companies that or tokens that are based on NFT issuance that are still doing pretty good, which means that although the kind of the money in the NFTs themselves on OpenSea and Rarible and all that may have dipped, there's still a lot of people buying the companies behind them. So maybe there's a bit of a switch to that whole here we go. Instead of the miner, the gold mine and the mine, maybe it's like people buying the pencil, the artist's pencil, and they're investing in that, and the companies that kind of build these NFT infrastructure. So I still think there's some cool things that you can do in terms of treating them like tickets, for example. So and not necessarily having these high worth value, of 67 million at Christie's and such, but actually using them for useful things. But yeah, pump, dump, whatever. It goes up, it goes down. I don't know. It's all very similar to stuff in the past. It's like it's a new technology, and people are kind of scared of it, and so lots of people go in, then lots of people come out, and then it's that normal cycle. I think it will be back. Maybe not in the near future, but in a couple of months, it'll be bigger than the market will be bigger than it was before.
I think Dan's right there. Look, NFTs. So if I wasn't clear, NFTs are not going anywhere. For artists, this is an absolute windfall for the vast majority of artists, and it legitimizes digital artists really for the first time. So NFTs are here to stay. There's no doubt about that. And art NFTs are here to stay 1,000%. They're not going anywhere. But a lot of them are the ones that are making a little cat emoji that's selling for $8,000. Is that probably going to drop a little bit? Probably. But then you have other markets like the CryptoPunks, which are so thinly traded, and there are so many rich people in the space that they might actually go up in value. You know, CryptoPunk just a month ago or so traded for $8 million. You know, is that guy who bought that for $8 million really going to sell it for $50,000? No way. He's going to hold it. And so are the other, you know, 400 very wealthy people who bought their CryptoPunks for hundreds of thousands of dollars. So there's all these market dynamics that take place in NFTs and in certain NFTs that are going to support that sort of pricing.
As Dan was mentioning tulips and Ponzi schemes, I was reminded to note the historical irony that Bernie Madoff died on the day of the Coinbase IPO. So very strange. Bitcoin was called a Ponzi scheme for years and years and years. And then when Coinbase, kind of the most official company of Bitcoin, goes public, Bernie Madoff leaves this earth. So
that's amazing. And I will add this, when Dan was talking about the tulip mania, and we all know in the tulip mania, the top was somebody trading a townhome for a tulip bulb, right? Let me say this. I was considering trading my beach house in Costa Rica for a series of NFTs. So maybe we have hit the top.
I just want to add one more thing, actually, which I thought was things cool about the NFT situation. The NFT market is, as you said about giving money back to, you know, artists, and one category of people have had their lives, you know, I wouldn't say torn apart, but maybe turned upside down. These are the people like overly attached girlfriend who has spent years floating around the internet and has finally made 411,000.
100%. Yeah. If you all don't know the story, this is a woman who was made into a meme back in, I don't know when, 2011, 2010 or something like that. Made into a meme, and she just, what was it, about a week ago, sold that NFT version of that meme for approximately $400,000. And she had never really made money, been struggling her whole life, and this was her cash in moment. That's a great point, Dan. That was great.
It's slightly smaller, but they also sold the "Leave Britney Alone" video today for $44,000. So also very nice. And before we go to Josh, I just want to mention, while the market might be dead, there's still some life left in it. Edward Snowden announcing just about an hour ago that Jesse Powell, friend of the show from Kraken, has bid $1 million on Snowden's first NFT.
Wow.
Only NFT. That's 440 Ethereum by Jesse from Kraken. And it was the other bids were around 250. So
wow.
I think
that was yesterday. I saw that. I tweeted about it. Jesse at that point had traded up to $150,000. So that took quite a run in the last 24 hours.
He's gone all in. And then we also have news from Rare Pepes. One of the original Rare Pepes, a physical Rare Pepe, has sold for $25,000, more than 42 million Satoshis. So there is action in some of the older NFT markets and the newer ones with Snowden. So
if y'all don't know, today the actual I think it's Mike Fury, the original artist behind Rare Pepes, is selling his very first cartoon as an NFT today. If you follow me on Twitter, I'll tweet about that after this show, and you can go check that out. It started very, very low. We'll see where it goes. It's still got about 20 hours left in that auction, but I would expect it to be
beyond Rare Pepes. The original Pepe artist is selling.
The original Pepe artist. Yep.
In 2017, I bought into meme coin, which was Pepe based. I think it was called Pepe coin at the time. And then I suddenly realized that it was like banned by the Anti-Defamation League. So Matt Fury in 2017 did a Kickstarter to try and bring back Pepe as like a nice character. And I bought like this. I bought a special pack, and it came with a cartoon book that you know of Pepe, and he's like Pepe the Frog, and he's like doing his normal things, like pissing in a toilet with his trousers down. And the most amazing thing about it is that it came with a centerfold of Pepe just lying down naked with his knob out. It's the best thing ever. I don't think he was successful in his crowdfund raise, but I know that memes, it's still about, that's for sure. But
actually, anybody who's watching us on YouTube right now and in the chat, I'm going to put it in. I just put in the link to the Rare Pepe Frog NFT Genesis Edition. Go check that out. And I know it's Matt and his brother's running that website, that chainsaw website. So, you know, it's still cheap, only 5 ETH. That's the current bid. We're going to see where that goes. 19 hours left on that.
Go, 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 go.
Pump it, pump it.
Pump it. Yeah,
Hey,
look,
the pump-o-metrics just makes sense.
it makes absolute sense. The thing with the NFT, it's crazy to say that NFTs are dead or whatever, but Dan is spot on. Like, if there was ever a tulip mania, like Bitcoin was always called a tulip mania, I'd be like, hang on, there's 21 million. How can it's not a tulip mania? NFTs are literally a tulip mania because you can make infinite amounts of them, and they will. The place for NFTs is not NFTs as a whole, as like the market. It's more like, hey, there's a really cool playing card game and people are finding it really fun to play, and you can trade the cards as NFTs, and they're becoming really expensive. Or wow, that famous person just released something that people are collecting, like a series of them. And people love series. They love to have like the whole series. Yeah, there's lots of things. Filmmakers will probably release frames of their films. That's one invention I made. Someone can take that because I just don't have time. But you could fundraise a film by selling each frame, and you know, there's all sorts of really cool ideas that can happen. But you know, like Adam said earlier, there's a lot more use cases than just art. The ability to pack bundles, or let's say there's collateralized debt positions that you might have that you can then hold it as an NFT and split them up and sell them various places. And you might take, you know, the whole reason, I think we covered it in the last show, but the whole reason 2008 collapse happened because people couldn't follow those collateralized debt obligations around because they were so chopped up and moved around in the housing mortgage bubble. And NFTs would kind of solve a little bit of that, because you could actually understand where all these mortgage-backed securities are by tracking them through the network. There's lots of use cases. This will be one in the DeFi space that will happen, but NFTs are definitely not going anywhere. Of course it's a bubble. Of course it's a bubble. You cannot just take a screen grab and say, or make some shit drawing and go, oh, it's selling. And one of the main reasons.
Show me your punk, baby. Let's see
it. Let's see it, man. Let's see it. I mean, look, the only reason a lot of these are pumping right now was because Ethereum's so expensive to send something. So every one of them is going to be more than $40 because it costs about $40 to send anyway in fees. So you just better make it a little bit more than that. So everyone's like, oh, wow, you know, crazy. But yeah, it's a mental time. It's fun. This is what drives the entire industry, is this sort of mania. And these manias cause businesses to start and people to have ideas and inspiration. And that's wonderful because people start things. And then the bear market comes along. A lot of the shit ideas end up failing, or people run out of steam, and the good ones stay. And they go on to the next pump where they can really be already established and make some good business that brings value to the world. So yeah, I mean, let's see what happens.
Josh makes an excellent point on a game where you could use the trading cards, the NFTs, as part of the game. There's a great game out there right now on Wax called Alien Worlds. You can basically use the various cards, NFTs, as parts of your ship to mine the currency of the game, and the currency of the game just listed on Binance, and it went up like crazy. So I don't know if it works as a game anymore. Like, normal people can't buy in. Nobody's buying $500 cards to mine this expensive currency. But as far as a proof of concept and like, can this work? Can these cards, you know, bring value? It really did, at least so far in Alien Worlds.
Yeah, or like, you know, like, the obvious one, of course, is like Magic the Gathering, and good old Mt. Gox. You know, it was the original card game that you could, you know, and that would work really well as an NFT. I know that a lot of my friends would have bought and sold NFTs based on a Magic style mechanism. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, we've had so many of these already. Me looking through the NFT history, there are literally dozens of games that were built on NFTs and failed. I mean, this is like Josh said, this is the beauty of free markets, is we'll go through this mania where people just build because everybody thinks an idea is great and there's money just flowing everywhere. And then we get the crash, which takes out all the losers and the bad ideas. And the ones that are left standing will be better and stronger for the next cycle. It's a great point, Josh.
Well, in Spells of Genesis, one of the very first NFT or card games was a Magic-like card game where the cards did stuff for you. It's interesting to see how that turns out and how this continues to evolve. Moving on to the exit question, there's already some exciting stuff going on Wax, like Street Fighter cards and Garbage Pail cards. But what about Topps adding baseball cards? Is there a kind of card that would make you buy NFTs? We'll go to Adam first. But what do you think about Topps and all this going on?
You know, it's just a mad rush. Everybody just rushes in, right? It's a money grab. When I'm talking to people, I'm very hesitant. I'm saying, look, if you're trying to get into the space, my best suggestion is try and buy things that at least have some sort of historical significance if you're staying in the art gaming sort of space. The idea that Major League Baseball is going to dump cards onto the market for this huge money grab, which the NBA just did, you're getting to see the dump. The dump is already happening in the NBA Top Shots. I mean, it is a bloodbath what's happening there. I would say far better is look for historically significant NFT pieces, art pieces like the Christie's auction, or the Christie's, not the Christie's auction, but when Christie's had an event in 2018 and gave out cards with art on them. They're called the Lost Robbies. Okay, those are interesting. When I first heard about it, there were 12 in existence. Now they're about 18, somewhere around there. Okay, those are interesting. And yeah, they're $100-something thousand, but they have historical significance and people love a good story. But you got to be very careful out there.
And to add to that, we all got into Bitcoin because we don't trust governments with generating money or being in control of money. Right now, we're trusting some idiot executives in the basketball league to not
100%.
print too many cards, right? Yeah, they have no idea. They're like, money, we can put more in. They're like more. They're like some sort of Venezuelan president, you know. More. We can generate money. This is amazing. What more? That dunk.
How
NFT.
many do we need? We need more.
We need just more. You know, and then eventually everyone will be like, oh, what? And they'll be drowning, and I got to buy the dip, and then they'll be drowning, and I've got another one, and then it's dead,
You're
then
right
it
as
has
rain,
zero
man.
value.
The reason why Hornus Wagner baseball cards valuable because there are 2 of them, right? Not because there are 200,000 of them.
Yes, spot on.
You're right as rain.
All right, Dan, Eve, are you excited about the baseball cards? Do you need cricket cards or some other local variant to get you excited about NFT trading cards?
Top trumps, old school top trumps, maybe. I don't know. No, I think they're all interesting to look at. I'm not going to lie. I go and look at Rarible OpenSea and just check out the what random things are there. I like the toilet roll ones, where there's like a toilet roll floating to the moon. It's just art. It's just nice kind of going there and have it. It's like going to an art gallery, right? It's maybe an overpriced art gallery that, you wouldn't want, you wouldn't want to go in there just in case you get cornered by a salesman or you've had a few drinks and then you end up buying an art piece like the one behind me. But it's a nice piece, and I'm glad I bought it. I think they're cool. They're cool things. It's like a new thing with tech, and I'm always interested in fiddling with things and looking at fiddly things.
I think Josh makes a good point about the oversaturation. When I started thinking about baseball games and stuff, I was like, well, there's a game every day. You could NFT the game. You could NFT all the classic games. So-and-so, Doc Gooden versus this and that. And, that was a classic game. NFT all the perfect games. You can NFT all the World Series winners. I think if you're a car company, you could NFT all your car models. Then you could do it for every year, like an 83 Corvette card or a 93 Corvette, different values. So there's lots of options, but yeah, I do think it's going to kind of drown the thing. Josh,
if you don't deal in scarcity, it doesn't work. You have to balance scarcity in there. The smart ones have. If you look at the NFT space, the smartest ones, which are really the guys from CryptoPunks and Autoglyphs, they've done the best, which is like They realized the first version was CryptoPunks 10,000. That's too many. They went down. Autoglyphs, they did like 450 or whatever it is. That's the perfect number because you can pull in with the story of it. You can pull in the super high-end investor. They buy, they trade to their friends, and all of a sudden you have this very, very tight, wealthy community. And those are the ones that I love.
And now I want to defend Tops a little bit because they did do a good job in their announcement. They had all this stuff, like they have the pack mechanics. And again, I studied all this for Curio Cards. I was like, this would be great for, the company printing these, obviously. And, you sell a pack and the pack has a rare. And if you get a more expensive pack, you get more expensive rares. And they were even doing things like mixing Mickey Mantles and old cards in. So there's like a fake value to them. But just like Adam's saying, they're not rare, they're not old. Like Topps is producing them all this year. They'll all be, similar as far as NFTs. So, but I still think it's going to be a huge success. I still think there's buyers there for Topps.
Oh, for sure. You're right as rain there. Yep.
Josh Shigala, what do you think about trading cards and NFTs? We talked a little bit about this, but I'll give you another chance here.
I don't know. I don't have enough time to do.
When are you gonna make
stuff.
silver NFTs, man? That's the question. Can we get some silver NFTs going on?
Yeah, I mean, we actually tried. We made. We tried to get some near field communication stuff working in coins, but the metal, of course, messes with it. And then we tried some other things to insulate it, to get some sort of NFT thing happening. With using a near field communication tool, but then we thought, hey, let's get on with other stuff.
Let's move on to the exit question. At what point will we know that the NFTs have gone too far? When people are NFTing like every single meal, like on Instagram, when Hollywood has NFT'd every movie and every actor and every important thing that's ever happened. When will it be? When will it be enough? What's the straw that breaks the camel's back? Let's go to Adam. What will do it for you?
Bro, we're already there. We're already there. It happened in less than a month. And it is amazing. It happened in less than a month. We're already there. We're at full saturation. Full saturation. If you follow the market at all, punks went down 40% in a week. I mean, it's that kind of thing. The bottom punks were selling at 40% less a week in. But then again, punks were supported. The wealthy people on Twitter who own punks, the $1 million punks, went in and were buying up ones for 20,000 to support the market. But trust me, guys, we haven't even started. The idea that Josh was talking about of fractionalizing ownership in the NFT space, it hasn't even begun. Okay, when I can fractionalize my beach house with little or no resistance, that's when NFTs have arrived, and we're years and years away from this. So it hasn't even begun. We're at step one right now, and it's going to be amazing. It's going to impact every single aspect of our lives, every single aspect. When I can sell my beach house or portions of my beach house to every single person on the planet, and some guy in Nigeria can use his Bitcoin to buy an NFT, which represents part of my beach house, that connection between the online and the offline world, when that can fully happen, that's when NFTs have arrived, and it'll be an everyday part of our lives.
Dan, Eve, when will you know that they've gone too far? When they're digitizing every single character and every single song name from Lord of the Rings? When they have a card for the ring, will that be enough?
The actual time they would have gone too far is probably when I eventually turn one of my songs into an NFT. That would be the actual point. But oh man, I was going to say something. It's all gone now.
I feel the same way about Curio Cards. We just got it up to the market there, and then we killed the whole thing. We're historically significant. We're old. We're interesting art. We got cool artists. All those kind of things. And they're like, nah, like the hype has passed. Like it's over. Too late. Like you should have been faster.
You bookended. You're the bookends.
I know.
You started it. You ended it.
I remembered. That's it. NFT
time. Actually, when they've gone too far, I don't think there is too far in this case. It's a technology, and it's very, very interesting. We touched on it before. But one of the other use cases that I think is very, very important, and I think will become extremely, extremely significant, is the fact that deep fakes are going to be extremely, extremely common. I'm already starting to see on YouTube very rudimentary versions of people, basically filtering their face with Bernie Sanders or, famous people, making them say stuff with accents, and sometimes also some software to mimic voices pretty well. It's going to get very, very, very advanced very quickly. I predict in the future, every part of television will have a constant time code and GPS on the frame, and we will be in real time stamping this stuff into blockchains to either NFT or maybe just hash them. I don't know if they need to be NFTs, but at least hash to then prove, okay, Angela Merkel was on this stage at this time, and this is actually what she said. You can see the time hash here, and it's been an NFT. NFT is probably not needed, but this is going to happen in the future. We will constantly see everything. This show here will have a timestamp right across it as a watermark, because someone will take my face and make me say something extremely racist.
Oh, remember when I made the video of using that app? Well, I didn't make it. I used an app to make Josh sing a song. Remember that?
Yeah.
That's how crazy it is. And it was from a still frame. It was incredible. It's really good. So I can't remember the app. It's Momo or something.
Yeah. See, here we go. This is going to happen to me now. This is when the viewers take my face. It's going to start right now. Quick, timestamp. Someone.
Sell your silver, sell your gold.
Yeah, sell it to the hills, to the hills.
Gosh, giving up on physical money. No.
Never.
All right. Well, I think we did good on these issues. Let's move on to predictions or story of the week. Dan, are you ready with a prediction or story of the week?
Well, okay, I did have some predictions readied up, but story of the week we didn't cover. It's not my story, although I think it's good kind of for the ecosystem. But isn't the new SEC chairman who's been confirmed? He's like a MIT crypto professor. That's pretty bullish. I think maybe, I don't know. I think it's good. I think it's good for crypto in general. But my predictions, they're all absolutely nuts. Although one of them is probably less nuts now that the MIT, I realized after when I was researching the crypto professor Gensler is going to be the new SEC chairman. So the first prediction is that HSBC are going to be left behind. Oh no, they are going to list Dogecoin along with, so you'll have your bank and they'll be like, they're going to skip straight to from Bitcoin, then forget about that. It'd be like USD or GBP and Dogecoin. That's my crazy prediction of one. Then there's a second one, which isn't so crazy now because of the MIT crypto professor, the SEC guy, is that SEC dropped the XRP lawsuit. And then my third one is that Warren Buffett is going to announce that he's actually changing his will to, upon his death, liquidate all his assets into market buying Bitcoin and burning it.
Well, that last one would be fantastic. And in the spirit of Dan's predictions, let's go ahead and ask the Bitcoin predictor ball about the price of Bitcoin this time next week. Will the price of Bitcoin be higher this time next week? Here we go. Yes, definitely. That's unequivocal. That's all the way. Josh Segala, prediction or story of the week. Go ahead.
Well, for years, Charlie Lee has been saying, "Hey, come on, when are you going to get Litecoin on Voltoro?" And I was, "Come on, Charlie, I don't know. Well, soon, one day." And it's been since we launched 2015, and we thought, what would be really good for silver to Bitcoin's gold was if Litecoin could trade for silver on Voltoro and back, and you can trade between Bitcoin and back to Litecoin and over there. And that's what we did. So we can all celebrate that achievement of the script coin finally launching on Voltoro. We had a party, a little party. You're not allowed to have parties, so that didn't actually happen to the Stasi out there. Didn't happen. We had some beers over Zoom. But anyway, yeah. So Litecoin, that's the news of the week on Voltoro. Check it out if you want to buy some silver, trade some silver, buy the dip. Why hold it in bank accounts? That's my thing. You know, everyone says, "Oh, why buy gold and silver?" And it's like, what? You really want to go back to fiat? You idiot! Don't touch that shit. Just get away from it. It's being hyperinflated. If you want to just, you know, take some profits off the table, put it into another rare asset. And then you've got it, and then it's insured, it's fully audited, and then when it drops, you can trade it back to crypto. Yay! Stay fiat independent. Screw that.
I remember a long time ago, I was holding some Litecoin because Mt. Gox was going to launch the Midas trading engine. And once they launched that, they would be adding Litecoin. So I was excited. Once Litecoin gets listed on Mt. Gox, that's when it goes to the moon.
That's when it goes to the moon. And then it crashed. Then they died.
Over and over again. And then someone sold it all at the top. Adam McBride, do you have a prediction or a story of the week? Go ahead.
My prediction, I just see these things coming through my feeds about, just give us your coins and earn 36% annual on your coins or 24% a year. And I talk to people about this and I try to say, look, I've seen this a couple times in my life. This is called a Ponzi scheme. There's no way anything in this planet can give you that with any sort of certainty before it collapsing. I mean, maybe we're in a new world and maybe that we've hit magic land and it exists, but be very, very careful. I mean, so my prediction would be one of these things is going to go belly up or get robbed or something's going to happen that one of these things is going to turn upside down and the people who put their coins in there are going to be left holding a bag of nothing. That's my warning shot to everybody out there who's thinking of doing this, thinking, oh, what could go wrong? A lot. That's just my gut feeling on this stuff is a lot can go wrong. Just from my rational brain, I've seen it multiple times before in my life. And from my perspective, just be careful. My story of the week had to do with Gary Tan. I don't know if you guys know Gary or follow him on YouTube or whatever. He just talked a little bit about he invested a couple $100,000 with his friend back in the old days when he was starting up Coinbase. And turned that couple $100,000 into $2 billion when it went public the other day. So congratulations to Gary. Everybody check out his channel on YouTube, Gary Tan. He's got quite a really good channel on YouTube about crypto. So he's a good one.
Excellent point about the lending. As Polonius said, neither a borrower nor a lender be. This above all to thine own self be true. But I think we're towards the end of the show here. So everyone check out shop.worldcryptonetwork.com. We've got the Treasures Don't Float t-shirt, World Crypto Network, the mug, and the HAL Finney t-shirt and sticker and all kinds of stuff.
And so also check out the WCN Clips YouTube channel.
Clips.
If you don't have time to watch this entire show once a week, there's some great clips there of different topics. It's cut down to 10-minute chunks, and it still helps this show out because it highlights some of the good stuff.
Yeah, it's like JRE clips. It's just as popular as Joe Rogan clips. So be sure to thumbs up those clips too, and subscribe to the Clips channel as well as subscribe to this channel. And that's about it. I think we're running out of time, so we're going to end this show. Thanks to everybody for joining us. Be sure to give us a thumbs up down below. It's free, and you can also push subscribe. If it's your first time here, we've done, 250 of these shows. So there's a lot of them. They're weekly. That's really hard. So thanks so much for joining us. Until next time.
Bye. Bye.